Oh my God. Oh my God. I opened my mouth and the first thing that comes out was a frog. I am very sorry. Good morning, everyone. And the gas is coming by. I mean, it's got to be Monday. Monday. It's got to be Monday. Wednesday. It's got to be Monday. There's all kinds of activity going on. My goodness. It is Monday, January 11th. And here we are. This is Coffee and Headlines, our daily live get-together here on Facebook every single day of the week, 10:30 in the morning, where we examine headlines, topics, comments, suggestions, ideas, any good stuff that we can get our hands on to better enjoy our lives here in Puerto Vallarta as an English-speaking community of locals. It is always a pleasure to get together with you, and if by chance this is your first time here, please let us know that you are new by writing the word new in your comment. And if you have something really awesome that you want to share with us or you would like us to consider during the broadcast, if you add the letter Q to your question and comment, it will help us tremendously. Let's see who is in the house today. It is always a pleasure to see everybody that we know and love. My sister, espero que hayas tenido un buen cumpleaños. I hope you had a wonderful birthday yesterday with my niece and her wife and the twins. I hope you had a wonderful birthday in Mexico City. Let's see who's here. Karen's in the house from Homer, Arkansas. I think AK is Arkansas or AK is Alaska. I'm not sure. But Karen, it's great to see you here. AK is Alaska, right? I'm failing geography today. Mondays are better with coffee and headlines. Well, Mondays are better with coffee and headlines. And Raymond, it's great to see you, Raymond. Let's see what else we have here. Karen's in the house from Portland, Oregon. It's nice to see you. I noticed that somebody lost a cell phone yesterday, Claude. I hope you are able to recover it. I really hope you can, because losing a cell phone is a horrible thing to have happen. The best thing to do is to, post it online on Facebook and hope that somebody will want to return it. You know how those things go. Heather Wilson, you cracked me up right off the bat with your dramatic entrance. Well, it was not intended to be anything more than welcome again, but something unexpected came out of my mouth. Usually it's burps and things like that that come out of my mouth unexpectedly, but this morning it was more of a weird sound effect. Boom, parim, pam, 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 pam. So here we are. Let's see. Saludos de 5 de diciembre. Muchas gracias, Albert. It's great to see you. And Janet is in San Pancho. It's great that we're all gathered together. And of course, it's Monday, and today we must look at the latest about COVID from our governor. So we might as well go there. We have the latest information that we have. We have a question from a viewer that came in yesterday. We have news about that that new strain of coronavirus that has been detected in England. It has arrived in Mexico, so now we deal with that. and a couple of other fun things to share. So we might as well get started. Let's go to the headlines. Well, as in every other Monday, or every Monday in the past with very few exceptions, we hear from Governor Enrique Alfaro about the latest COVID numbers here in our state. Here is his statement. I'm going to read it as usual. He starts by saying, it is quite possible that with the arrival of the vaccine, we will start the final stage of this very difficult battle, but it is the most difficult and we cannot let our guard down this week. The Jalisco COVID-19 indicators show that general occupation of hospital beds went from 40.7 to 53%, and intensive care beds went from 51% to 56% in the state of Jalisco. The positivity in our Radar Jalisco tests decreased from 46.5 to 46.1, but we still need to deal with the consequences of all the gatherings that took place during the month of December. We won't get information about those for 15 days after the fact. And that is when we'll be able to see the results of the measures we introduced starting on December 25th until last night. Last night ended the restriction of schedules for certain activities at night and on weekends, but not the measures that we have been following all along. The next few days will be crucial to determine the paths to take, and these paths will be evaluated on January 15 in the Health and Economic Reactivation committees. For those that you love the most, and for our health personnel that has not rested a single day in the primary line of battle, risking everything to save lives, let us do things the right way with the face mask well put on the face, constantly washing our hands and keeping safe distance from other people. And of course, we've heard this all along. These are the messages that we get from our governor. And here are the numbers. Here is hospital occupation by region. Puerto Vallarta area and surrounding municipalities continue to be low, 20.9%, compared to, say, for example, this region north of the state. They have 80% occupation. Municipalities south of Puerto Vallarta, including Costa Alegre, show very low numbers at 9.1%. And here is the numbers for positivity. These are the people that go get tested because they have symptoms, and they test positive, 46% of the people. Here is the occupation of general beds and the occupation of intensive care beds at 53% and 56.2% respectively. Let me take a quick look at your comments before we continue, in case you have something specific about these numbers. La 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 la. Watch your show just yesterday, later in the day. Enjoyed Michael Franks. Michael Franks is awesome. It's, he has such a unique voice and such a unique way of singing. I am sure that he is not for everybody, but I have found his voice very soothing ever since I started listening to him. And his songwriting is also quite unique. Let's see what else we have. I don't want to alarm, but it was in the Mexican news. Now, in all the Mexican hospitals, people that are sick with COVID older than 40 years old are not accepted. They're not being accepted in hospitals, just like it was in Italy. I have not read this, Angelica. I don't know where you read it. Let us hope that this is not the case. If it is the case, oh my goodness, let us hope that we can take care of ourselves. I mean, the bottom line about all of this, and we know this, is it is in our hands to do what is expected of us so that the virus can stop spreading. And the bottom line is, if we all do what we're supposed to do, It's that simple. I mean, it's not that simple, but we know what we have to do. We got a question from a new viewer yesterday. As usual, when the question has an answer that could be of help to more than one person, we like to address these things here at Coffee and Headlines rather than sending a one-on-one answer. I was given your radio info from a friend who lives in PVR and watched yesterday, would like to watch more. Yay. Question, if governor shuts down after January 15th meeting with officials, how will it impact PV further than it is? Well, any kind of restriction that is imposed by the government is going to have two results. One is favorable for health, and one is likely to have consequences for productivity. And that's just the nature of these restrictions. We need to continue to have them, so has said the governor, every now and then to keep the numbers in check. And then the question is it true COVID tests in PV are 200, I imagine that is 200 US, to get back to the States and necessary to do so? Thank you. The answer to that second half is there are different prices, there are different tests, and I have not read anywhere that the United States is expecting people to have a test in order to be able to get back into the United States. That would be news to me. So those are the answers that I have. Hopefully, if there is further restrictions in terms of heading north, whether it is to United States or Canada, needless to say, I'm sure that we're going to read it everywhere, and hopefully we won't get to that situation. Going back to our headlines, as we reported, the second botonazo, or the second period of restriction, ended last night. And of course, we see that the numbers in occupation in hospitals, hospital occupation, are slightly increased, as we reported just now. But as we mentioned before, there is yet no further indication of what is going to happen and when. As we know, the governor has said that it won't be until the 15th, that would be Thursday, that we will actually see the consequences of the measures taken at the beginning of the year and the last week of December. Here's the news note where we learn that a person coming from the United Kingdom arrived in Mexico City and had that new strain of coronavirus that has been identified in England and other countries. It is a citizen from the UK, 56 years old, that arrived in Mexico City from Amsterdam on the 28th of December. One day after that, he traveled by plane to Matamoros, Tamaulipas, where he worked, and that is where he tested positive for the PCR test. He came in a plane that had 45 passengers, out of which 31 have been contacted, and they have not presented symptoms. 2 of them had symptoms, but they turned out to be negative. So let us hope that this new strain of coronavirus is going to be followed and is going to be tracked as best as possible. Let's see. That's all that we have for serious notes and serious news, And so let me take a quick look at your comments, and then we switch over to the weather. Let's see. Michael wants to hear more music from my Berkeley days. Oh my goodness. Let's go there someday. Let's go there. What plan of action for Vallarta? If I remember correctly, everything was open through the holidays. Perhaps Guadalajara had restrictions, but then again, a lot came here and will impact us soon. That is a great question, Michael. It's so funny because these restrictions seem to change so much and so frequently that it's hard to remember what we were doing before the last week or so. But not quoting specifics, we know that businesses continue to have to not allow people into their establishments without face masks. We know that restaurants continue to operate with limited capacity in stores and so forth and so on. All the the guidelines are still and have been in the official website for COVID-19 for the state of Jalisco. And again, we're going to have to wait until the 15th or shortly thereafter to see what is coming next. Let's see. Thank you, Jesse. I love green. I never used to wear green because we used to have the green screen behind me. And green screen and green colors just don't get along. Let's see. Question: when you went to Berkeley, was the naked guy there? He was a student who attended classes naked. Was there a naked guy at Berkeley when I went there? No. I would have remembered a naked guy. I remember a lot of guys, but I would have remembered a naked guy. No, not that I can think of. Anyhow, let me continue with the weather, and we have a few other headlines to share with you in just a moment. It is 21 degrees here in Puerto Vallarta, feels like 23. That would be an equivalent of 71 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity is at 56%. And the weather forecast for today is clear through the day with a high temperature of 25, low temperature of 15. Tomorrow, it will be clear through the day as well, with 27 and 16 as high and low temperatures. And Wednesday, partly cloudy through the day, with a high temperature of 28, low temperature of 16. Not bad for a second week of the year. And now I want to tell you some good news. Apparently, according to this news item from Noticias PV, tourism in Mexico is on the rise. These figures go back to the month of November, where Mexico recovered 67% of its travelers arriving by plane from the United States and Brazil, according to the Secretary of Government in our country. We also learned that numbers continue to be on the rise in terms of tourism, which is good. An interesting fact here, the International Air Travel Association indicates that Afghanistan and Mexico are the two countries with the least number of COVID restrictions, and Mexico is the country that received the third highest number of international flights in 2020. So this is all good news for our country. We also learn from headlines that we saw this morning that we could be making mistakes in the way we use our masks. I don't think it is ever too much to have one of these articles and read them from time to time. This one has less to do with how we wear it and more to do with whether we wash it or we don't wash it, whether we wash our hands or not. So this is something that I'm going to share with you so that you can take a look at it on your own time. And in case you were wondering, the Oscars are still happening. So this is one of those wonderful explainer articles from Vox that has everything you wanted to know about the Oscars coming up, whether there are enough movies or not to have the Oscars, when they're taking place, what are the logistics, and so forth and so on. Let me take a quick look at your comments just to see what we are looking at. Oh, of course, that's why. Of course, that's why. Yes, there was a naked guy at Berkeley, California, but I went to Berkeley College of Music in Boston. Different kind of Berkeley, different spelling for that matter. But I remember the naked guy at Berkeley. I remember seeing photos of him and thinking, oh, he's sexy. But not at the music school, not at my college, definitely. Let's see. Did anyone capture a photo of the meteorite? I didn't even know there was one. But if anybody did, let's take a look at that photograph. I'd like to see it. Let's see what else. Thank you, Linda. Good to see that your eye infection is improving. Yes, I've been following the treatment that was expected of me, doing antibiotics twice a day, and I've become a hot compress queen. It's like I know how to do it. I have my Ziploc bag. I have my wet towel in the Ziploc bag, and it goes into the microwave, and then I wrap it with another wet towel, and it's wonderful. It's very soothing. So hopefully I'll be okay in just a few days. The last headline that I want to share with you, if I may, has to do with this performance that we mentioned just a few days ago. This is our friend Guda Gabor, who is starting her run of performances at Encanto this evening. As I mentioned a few days ago, I love Guda because Guda is one of my most cautious friends. And the simple fact that she has been so cautious with her goings and comings and goings and so forth and so on, and she would still be willing to go on stage to entertain us, says a lot about her comfort level. So I am going to go and support my friend tonight at 9:30 p.m. at Encanto. And of course, she's performing with the absolutely talented Mark Hartman. So this should be a very good performance. She screwed her way to the middle, which is the name of the performance. Guda tells anecdotes of her years in show business, and she sings some songs and so forth and so on. So this should be a lot of fun to check out. Last minute comments. Let me take a quick look. If we have any other questions, any other comments, I think we are all pretty much caught up with today's broadcast, which is wonderful. Which probably means that it is a good time to wrap things up. As always, these Monday broadcasts are always important because we take a look at at what's going on with COVID. But again, I know that we're bound to get a little troubled by the fact that the new strain of the coronavirus is in Mexico and what that means and so forth and so on. We're bound to be concerned about the latest developments, but we must remember that the bottom line continues to be the same. We take care of ourselves, we take care of our friends, we follow simple guidelines, and that is the best we can do to help our community, our city, and the people that are taking care of us from the medical front. So that's what we have for today. I hope that this will be a fun, wonderful week for everybody. I invite you to stay connected with us. Come back whenever you want. Hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow. And I remind you that we are a community supported project. If you enjoy what you find here, if you're entertained, or you find the information that we provide useful or inspiring, take a quick view at this website and figure out ways in which you can support the broadcast. Last but not least, yesterday we talked about how to shimmy, or the headlines. The announcement of yesterday's show was that we would talk about how to shimmy in Spanish, shimmy, and we didn't, and if we had tried to, we would not have been able to, because for more than, I looked everywhere, and Spanish doesn't have a word for shimmy. How unfortunate is that? If you discover a good word for shimmying in Spanish, I would love to hear it from you. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.